All right, guys, buckle up, because what went down on the set of The View just the other day was something straight out of a TV drama. Seriously, it was one of those moments where you're glued to your seat like, did that just happen? So picture this. Dr.Phil on the show, and suddenly he's in the middle of an unexpected showdown with Joy Behar. And, guys, it was all about narcissism, particularly in reference to Donald Trump. Now, let's just say things got, a lot more intense than Joy probably expected. She kicked things off with, a question, trying to corner Dr. Phil about Trump's personality, pointing out traits from the DSM-5, the manual that psychologists use for diagnosing mental disorders.
Well, Counselor, that's a compound question, and I object. But people talk about narcissism, but they don't really know what it means. So I brought a list from the DSM-5 about what narcissism really is, because if I asked people to stand up and define it, they wouldn't know.
All right.
And let's just take a vote. One, has a grandiose sense of self-importance.
Check.
Check. Okay.
Next.
2, is preoccupied with fantasies of success, power, or brilliance, which you said. Check. Okay. 3, believes that he or she is special or unique.
Check.
Can only be understood by special people. 4, requires excessive admiration.
Oh, check.
Has a sense of entitlement, which means is very thin-skinned. If you're
Joy was ticking these traits off as if she was running through some sort of checklist. Grandiosity, fantasies of power, lack of empathy, the whole shebang. Well, Dr. Phil, in his no-nonsense style, wasn't just going to sit there and take it. He pushed back immediately, pointing out that list, it applies to more people than we might think, including maybe, a few sitting right there at the table.
If you take out everybody that has any of those characteristics, then you're going to take out a lot of people, including some at this table.
So,
do y'all need a minute?
No, that's all right.
No, she's got to ask you this question.
Yeah, I got to ask you because though they can't diagnose anybody, from afar, somebody that they haven't examined, doctors, therapists, a lot of respected psychologists out there, really big names, are saying that Donald Trump is showing signs of narcissism, which, by the way, one of the symptoms is preoccupied with the fantasies of unlimited power, success, and brilliance. And they're questioning that he has narcissistic disorder. Number one, do you think that's a mental illness, narcissism? And if so, is he fit to be president?
Now, talk about a mic drop moment. You could practically feel the audience's reaction. That stunned silence where it took a turn is when he kind of called her out gently, but firmly, on needlessly weaponizing psychology to discredit political leaders we don't agree with. And how do I put this? Her initial offense against Trump's possible narcissism was turned on its head, suggesting that if you were to disqualify every leader showing these traits during intense moments of stress, you'd be looking at a pretty empty room of leaders. Joy tried to regain her footing. She, doubled down by pivoting the conversation back to Trump's behavior and the criticisms he's faced. Dr. Phil, cool as a cucumber, countered with the idea that focusing too much on personality instead of policies might just lead to missing out on discussing tangible accomplishments like moving the embassy to Jerusalem or brokering the Abraham Accords.
He does all kinds of things that people have no idea about. And by the way, if he were selfish, he'd take his money and tell all of us to go F ourselves based upon the way this country has treated him. This guy got shot.
About him
Don't tell me he's selfish.
Are absolute fools.
Let me tell you something. Donald Trump is the only one who moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He's the only one who got the Abraham Accord.
Why aren't Jews voting for him?
I'm not going to fight with you anymore, Jessica. But I know the man, and the facts belie anything you say.
It was at this point that things started heating up. Joy, staying steadfast on her stance, argued that Dr. Phil was downplaying what she saw as a dangerous pattern. But Dr. Phil didn't budge, choosing instead to emphasize the importance of judging actions and achievements rather than just traits, reminding everyone that leadership naturally comes with its own set of pressures, and sometimes personalities reflect that.
Wouldn't look at President Obama and say he has narcissistic disorder. So you can't just say they all have it.
I didn't
Some
say they
people
all
have
it.
all the things you said.
Right.
We just checked every one of them.
I said most leaders. I said most leaders are under a lot of stress and pressure.
Yeah.
So a lot of them will show anxiety, depression at different times. A lot of leaders will have some affliction at different times because of the pressure and demands of the office.
She could talk about this all day. So
Then, as if trying to push one last point home, Joy asked if narcissism, disqualifies someone from being a leader. Dr. Phil kept his calm, delivering a powerful closing note about how everyone might check off a few traits from that list, but it's, really actions that define effective leadership.
I doubt that there's ever been anyone that has sat in the chair of the presidency that didn't have some type of imbalance mentally or emotionally at some point in their life.
Well, Nixon did.
We all have our hearts broken. We all have things that we go through.
As the segment wrapped up, Dr. Phil highlighted the need for balanced conversations, not just about others, but get this, about ourselves too. It was a reminder, maybe even a prompt for the audience to, take a look at their own judgments. So, guys, what do you think? Was Joy just doing her job, or did she take it a bit too far? And, was Dr. Phil justified in calling out the potential hypocrisy? Let us know what you think, because this discussion is far from over. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, all right?